This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena. And folks, here we are the day after Thanksgiving here in Canada. Here we are, October the 12th, 2021. And I have a wonderful guest on the phone. I'm so used to saying that from being at the station years prior. Here we are on Zoom. I got a wonderful guest on the show today. And we're both involved in a couple projects together as well. So I'm looking forward to chatting with her and getting her background and looking at this newly wonderfully beautiful red hair she's sporting now. Folks, I give you the awesome Debra Lamb. How do you do, Debra?
That was a wonderful introduction. Thank you, Greg. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I've been very busy. I've been working and I'm an essential worker, so I get called the buffer at my job, which means for the most case, I'm picking up after lazy people.
Yeah.
Which is
Well,
not, yeah, which is
well,
not fun. Yeah.
you are an essential worker, and thank you so much for having me on your show.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know what? I subscribed to your YouTube the
And
other
I
night.
appreciate that, by the way. Thank you. I
Yeah.
I, I subscribe back to you too.
Yeah. Well, I was looking you up online. I came across your YouTube, so I subscribed, and there was a couple of videos. I'll mention one in particular where you did an exotic dance in a straitjacket to Peter Gabriel music.
I did.
And I showed that video to my brother, who's my tech guy, and I was like, "This is who I'm having on the show tomorrow." And we watched you do the straitjacket dance. I couldn't do that, but you had the straitjacket on and you did the whole thing with the fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, you guys have a background in dance, but it goes a little deeper than that with the straitjacket and the fire eating. I need to get your history on that.
Oh. Well, I did a lot of performance artist type things when I was younger, and as well as, while I was working on developing an acting career and cultivating an acting career, I also did performance art, and I did some fire eating shows, and I did a lot of music videos around that time. I also modeled for a ton of greeting cards and video box covers and things like that. So I really had a very eclectic um, gathering of things that I was doing back in the 80s and 90s, and along with the acting and fire eating was one of those things. I actually fire ate in a few music videos, and my first few films that I was involved with. There was a few, well, actually, yeah, actually my first feature film, did I do fire eating in that? No, I didn't even do fire eating in that. My first feature film was directed by Kat Shea. It's called Strip to Kill, and it starred Kay Lenz and Norman Fell and some other people that were recognizable back then in the 80s. And then she brought me back for Strip to Kill 2, which was done a few years after that. And in Strip to Kill 2, I do fire eat. And Strip to Kill 1, which again was my first feature film, I didn't do fire eating. I was in I was a dancer in a dance competition, but it was a very small role. And then she brought me back for a supporting role in Strip to Kill 2. And on IMDb, for those who don't know what IMDb, it stands for International Movie Database. And you can look me up. Of course, you know this, but some other people may not know. You can look up, your favorite actor or director of films or anything having to do with film. You can look them up on IMDb. So on IMDb, my first film listed is something called, what was it called? I forget what it was called, but that was actually done after Strip to Kill. but the date says before, because the scene that I did in it, Kat Shea also was doing some pickup shots for this film that had already been filmed. It was
The Click.
an
The Click.
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
that's it. So after I worked with her on Strip to Kill, she had me and this other actress, Margene Holden, she had us come and do a couple pickup scenes for this older film that they were trying to re-release. So that pops up as my first film, but it actually was not my first film. So yeah, so I incorporated the fire eating in those early films that I was doing. And it came in handy. Like I said, I was in some music videos that I was fire eating and things like that. So yeah, but of course, once I got the ball rolling, I dropped the fire eating, and I did have a lot of people requesting me to do fire eating, and I, I just kept turning down people asking me to do that. I'm like, no, that's done and over with. Although
Too many calories.
funny. That's a good one, Greg. I gotta tell you, so in the early 2000s, it might have been the year 2000. I'd have to look it up, but I was brought in to be a fire-eating alien for the pilot of Star Trek Enterprise, and it was the one with Scott Bakula. Do you know that one?
I'm familiar with it. Yep.
So they were shooting the pilot for that, and they brought me on because they wanted me to fire eat. And so for them, I did fire eat. I had given up fire eating. I hadn't fire eat for anything for quite some time, but for them I did, because for one, they paid really well, and for another, it was Paramount, and it was a chance to be in the pilot episode of Star Trek, a Star Trek show, Star Trek series. And being a huge fan of Star Trek, and I still am, I jumped at the chance of doing that. So they did select me to do that. And unfortunately, we did shoot the scene, but unfortunately, there was some scenes that, how in these sci-fi shows, they always have, like Star Wars and other shows, other films, they have the cantina, the alien cantina scene and then you see all the aliens, and so it's a common theme, right, in sci-fi shows and sci-fi films. They're always going to, like, the Guardians of the Galaxy, in the second one. Yeah, it was the second one. And then they go to the shanty town with the love bots, so they always have these scenes. So that was the same type of scene I was doing for the Star Trek show. But they cut that whole thing out. I mean, all of it. There was all these scenes at this, like, cool little town with all these bars, and, they have the aliens and the alien hookers and, things like that. And they had some gorgeous, I think they kept a little bit of it, but there was a lot that they shot, and I was part of that. I had this huge alien head that they made for me. It was amazing, but I couldn't take any pictures. They wouldn't allow any pictures. And so I have no pictures of that. I had a really tall, like, super tall alien head, and they did this really cool body painting up my back, where they had all these, like, prints, like, up and down my spine and all over me. It was amazing. No pictures. It's so sad. And then I went to watch it when it aired, and I wasn't in it. I'm like, what happened to me? And yeah, a lot of that got cut out. But there is an article that you can come across online that it features a lot of people that cut out of different Star Trek episodes, not just from that series, but from all the other Star Trek series. And it lists all these actors that were aliens and different kind of characters that got cut out. So, you know, I was in good company. But there is a picture. There is a picture of me, except you still don't see the alien head, because the picture that they put with that article, which you can find online, and it's called Actors Whose Scenes Were Cut, and it has something to do with Star Trek. But you see me leaning my head like way back, so you don't see the top of my head, you see my chin. And then you see me with fire torches, like they're lit fire torches, and that's all you see. It's just so unfortunately you don't get to see the alien part of me.
Do I dare ask what the trick is to fire eating?
There's no trick. So you have, you know, these torches have cotton rope, you know, wrapped very tightly around the ends of the torches, and then you douse them, you soak them in lighter fluid, and then you light them on fire, and then you stick it in your mouth. But okay, so there's one thing, is that because fire goes straight up, right? So you have to lean your head way back so that when you put the fire in your mouth, the end of the torch in your mouth, so that the flame is going straight up out of your mouth. So you have to put your head all the way back, and then the flame is going up out of your mouth. And then you're, you know, kind of doing different tricks with the torches, but the flame is going straight up. So you have to have your head back.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
the thing.
I wanted to ask, what were your memories of working with Hlls?
Oh, yeah, she was great. I didn't have a lot of interaction with her. I had some interaction with her, but she was very professional, friendly. She was friendly, and yeah, she was a delight.
Yep. I have to ask about Beverly Hills Vamp. I've had Eddie Deason on here back in 2017. I gotta say, he was an interesting guy to interview, and I was watching him get seduced by you is kind of funny.
You were watching him do what?
You trying to seduce him?
Oh, yeah, in the film, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Beverly Hills Vamp, of course, one of those horror comedies, and of course with Eddie Deason, of course it's going to be a comedy, you know.
Yeah.
And of course, Brett. I hope I don't
Michelle Bauer?
Michelle Bauer, yeah, but good talk. Britt Eklund.
Britt Eklund. Yeah.
Okay, because I know her from the Man with the Golden Gun. She was a Bond girl and Wicker Man, you know. So.
Oh, was she in Wicker Man? I haven't seen Wicker Man. I need to see that.
Yeah, she was in the original one, and she does a dance in the nude.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. It was interesting. But anyway, she of course is the head vampire and Beverly Hills Vamp.
The madam. She's the madam.
She kind of puts me in mind of who's it, Lauren Holden in Once Bitten.
Oh, yeah. Lauren. Yeah, what's her last name?
Oh, I could be.
I know what it is.
I could be butchering that too, and I don't want to.
Why aren't I remembering? It starts with an H. Look it up. Look it up.
Oh yeah. Because this kind of reminded me in many ways of that film.
Yeah.
Oh, Lauren Hutton.
Thank you.
There you go.
I knew that's what it was, and I couldn't spit it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This put me a lot in mind of that. Talk about your memories of Beverly Hills Vamp.
It was a fun shoot. I got to work with one of my favorite directors, Hlls and Ray,
Yep.
and we're still friends today. We lost touch for many years, but because of Facebook, we got in touch again. And I've actually been able to see him once or twice. A couple years ago, he had his birthday party, and I got to be there. It was at the Van Nuys Reseda Elks Lodge, or actually it's called the Reseda Van Nuys Elks Lodge. And so that was really fun. I got to see him after after not seeing him for a very long time. And so it was great. That was the first, actually that was the second film I worked with him on. The first film.
Warlords.
It was, yeah,
Yep.
good. You got it. Yeah. And then Beverly Hills Vamp was a much bigger role for me in Beverly Hills Vamp. And then after that, I did get to work with Eddie Deason and Hlls and Ray again on Mob Boss.
What's it like working with Eddie Deason?
Oh, he's a lot of fun. In fact, yeah, he's very upbeat. He is a sweetheart. He is the way that I would imagine people would think he is, and he is. He's very sweet, very friendly, very supportive. And I saw him several years ago at Schiller Theater, in New Jersey, and I hadn't seen him for a couple decades, and he was like, hi Deb, and he was so sweet, and he was so excited to see me, and it was like as if no time had passed. It was like it was yesterday, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, that is so cool. He's cool. Yeah.
He was fun to interview, I'll tell you that. He told some interesting stories. Yeah.
That he was really fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And did you you worked in B.O.R.N, and I need to ask about PJ Soles, because I always liked PJ Soles.
Yeah. I mean, she was wonderful. She was wonderful to work with. She's a great actress, and I got to be in a few scenes with her, and yeah. And I saw her not too long ago. I saw her a couple years ago. In fact, she was such good friends with Sid Haig. She was actually taking care of Sid Haig. I mean, I don't know if it was like on a daily basis, but she was with him quite a bit, and made sure he got to this film premiere that I was invited to, and they were there, PJ Soles and Sid Haig, and I had worked with Sid Haig in Warlords. And so I was really excited to see both of them, because of course I hadn't seen either one of them in a couple decades. So I didn't think that Sid Haig like totally remembered who I was. So I found a picture in my phone from the set of Warlords, and I showed him, and then that sparked his memory. It was like, oh yeah, that, he seemed to remember me anyway. And then of course, not too long after that, he left us, which was very sad. But I was very happy I got to see him again in the relatively, not too distant past. I mean, just a couple years ago. And so it's good to see. Yeah.
I know that you had some uncredited roles in movies like RoboCop, Plane, Trains, and Automobiles, Point Break, Wild at Heart. Any of those stand out to you?
Well, they all stand out to me. I mean, those are
like, I mean, great experience, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, those were amazing sets to be on. And like Point Break, I got to work with Catherine Bigelow. I mean, I actually, she was talking to me, and I mean, I wasn't just, because on that film, you do see me in the film, and that's one of my earlier films, and I was a fire eater on that film. And the scene that I'm in is when Keanu Reeves brings Lori Petty to the beach house for the big beach party. And so, and I have blonde hair in that film. I think I'm still pretty recognizable, but I have short curly blonde hair, and as Keanu Reeves brings Lori Petty through the door. I spit fire right in front of their face. So in between the takes, Keanu Reeves was asking me, "Oh, how do you do that?" He was very curious, and he was super friendly. And Lori Petty was very nice as well. And it was an amazing experience. And of course, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was also amazing. And I've told that story, dozens and dozens of times. But I'll quickly tell you the story is that I was chosen out of this group of dancers to improv a scene with Steve Martin and John Candy. And then months later, I was invited to the premiere, not the premiere, but a screening for the cast and crew at Paramount. And I get to the door and they're passing out these sheets with the cast and crew names on it. And my name was on it. So I was very excited. I thought, oh, good, I haven't been cut out of the film. And then when I went to sit down, there was a editor who was sitting right behind me, and he recognized me and he says, "Oh, you're that girl." He says, "You are so funny in this film." He said, "I loved your scene." And so I thought, oh, good, I haven't been cut out, because people get cut out of these things all the time. So I was with at that time, my boyfriend, and we, watched the film. The scene that my scene would have been in was at the end of the film, toward the end of the film. So where it should have been came and went, and the scene was not there. So after the lights went up, the editor said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." He said, I didn't know that you had been cut out. And he was bummed out for me, because it was such a good scene. And of course I was like, yeah, that's sad. It's too bad. I was all like, pumped up thinking I was going to be in this thing. So when we got out to the parking lot, of course, I'm like bawling. I'm like, what? Now I do have a couple people. I have two people that have seen a version of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles where they actually saw the scene I was in. So my one girlfriend, who's also a filmmaker, she saw me years ago when she was staying with some people in Canada. And she said it was on TV, and she taped it. She taped it, off the TV with a VHS tape, back when there was VHS tapes. So she taped it, and then she told me, I worked with her. Her name's Michelle Nesk. I worked with her a couple years ago on a little film project called 333 Illuminati, along with Tonya Atomic. I have to throw their names out there, of course, give them some love. But so she remembered me from the film, and she said, "I love that film. It's one of my favorite films of all time." She said she saw me in it. So then some time went by, and then I called her and I was talking to her on the phone. I said, "So you really did see my scene?" And she says, "Yeah, I saw it." I'm like, "What happened to that VHS tape?" And unfortunately, she had some things in storage in a basement at one of her houses, and there was a flood, and the tape was destroyed.
Oh.
Yeah, but she had it, and she remembered my scene. She even described the scene to me, and I'm like, "That's it. That's the scene." So that was a couple years ago that she told me about this. Now there is this other person who's also a filmmaker who told me that he saw it like about a year ago, I think it is now. He saw me also in Canada on TV. It was playing, and he saw my scene. He wasn't like watching the whole film, because he was at like a pool bar or something. So he was playing pool, I think. And but he saw my scene. So he told me, he said, "I didn't know you were in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles." And I'm like, "Well, I got cut out." And he's like, "No, I saw you." And I'm like, "What?" He says, "No, I saw you on TV, just like." And at this point, when he told me, it had only been like about a week ago before that he actually saw me on TV. So he wasn't imagining it. And my girlfriend, Michelle Nesk, she wasn't imagining it. And so then I've had a couple friends I got really excited because I thought, well, maybe there's a way somebody can find this version. So I've had a couple people try to contact, like that guy, I forget his name now. That guy, he said he contacted that television station that it was playing on, and he didn't really get anywhere with it. I think he wasn't able to contact anybody or something. And then I had another friend try to like kind of investigate and didn't really come up with much. But it does exist because there's two people now at different times, both seeing it while they were in Canada when it was on TV. So if anybody out there is a, some big sleuth, somebody out there has got to be able to find this copy.
Your theater experience reminds me of I had Dick Miller on here 5 months before he passed away.
Oh.
Yep. And one of the stories he shared was that he went to the premiere of Pulp Fiction, not realizing that a scene with Harvey Keitel was cut.
That it was cut?
Yeah. It's in the deleted scenes on the Blu-ray, but he was Monster Joe.
Harvey Keitel was.
No, Dick Miller was.
Oh, Dick Miller. Oh, was he in a scene with Harvey Keitel? Is
Mhm.
that? Oh, I
Yep.
see what you're saying. So Dick Miller, he had the same experience where he went to go see Pulp Fiction. He thinks he's in it, but then
Yep.
his scene got cut. Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yep.
happens to the best of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just had Nancy Allen on from RoboCop, and she was one of my bucket list. After her for 5 or 6 years, I finally made connection.
Congratulations.
Yep. Yep. So
I love her.
yeah, she is. I love Dress to Kill, so
Yeah, me too.
yeah.
It's one of my favorite films.
I love that film. Yep. We have to talk about our connecting projects, because
but before we do, so my RoboCop story is I did, the guy who says I'd buy that for $1, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's got the funny commercials.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the final cut of the film, they use they show him saying I'd buy that for $1, and it's the same commercial that they show like a few times throughout the film. Well, when they were making the film, Paul Verhoeven actually shot other with the same guy saying I'd buy that for $1, but he shot some other commercials, and I was in one of those commercials with the I'd buy that for $1 guy. Well, my commercial, I was we were pounding pizza dough. I have a little quick story for this one. So it's me and this other girl and with that guy, and we're topless, and we're pounding pizza dough and playing with pizza dough while the other guy's talking. And so during a quick break where they were changing the lighting or something, they were moving cameras around or something. So we're just standing there, we're waiting, to do another take. And so I had this pizza dough. So I made like little pizza dough balls, and I started juggling these pizza dough balls because at the time I could juggle. So I'm juggling these pizza dough balls, and Paul Verhoeven looks over at me and he says, "Oh yeah, I like that. Do that." So in the commercial, I'm juggling pizza dough balls. So, but then again, in the final version of the film, they just decided to show the same commercial over and over rather than show the other commercials that had been shot. But now in the Blu-ray, with the extras, I think it's a Blu-ray plus it has a regular DVD, I think. Anyway, there's a deleted scenes extras part of it, and you can see my deleted scene if you have the Blu-ray with the extras. So you can see me juggling pizza dough balls topless.
How do you prepare yourself to do a nude scene?
Well, I haven't done one in ages. there's really no preparation. I mean, I don't do anything special to prepare. It's like, okay, in this scene, you're topless. Okay. But that's when I was very young and just starting out, and there was a couple films that I did appear topless in, but not very many. RoboCop was one. Actually, there is another film. Oh no, that's not my first film. Okay, so yes, the Strip to Kill. Oh, you know what? I was topless in Strip to Kill 2. Oh, you know what? I was topless in Strip to Kill 1. Well, Strip to Kill 1 was my first film. Strip to Kill 2 wasn't my second film, but it was a couple films later down the road. So there was a few things that I did appear topless in, but again, once I got my career rolling, then it was like, okay, that's enough. That's enough of the topless appearances. Let's see. Oh, but I was topless in Beverly Hills Vamp, but that was still early on. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know
But yeah,
what?
as far as preparation, I mean, there's then at that time, see now, I'm past doing topless scenes, but unless, I mean, if Steven Spielberg wants to call me and say, hey, we'll pay you like a lot of money, I'd be like, maybe, it is Steven Spielberg. But yeah, but back then, when I was first starting out, I did a handful of things, but at that time it was not a big deal for me.
No. Well, you know what? We have some projects in common,
We
you
do.
know? Yep.
We do. Yeah.
Although before we talk about those, I've cameoed in 9 James Balsamo movies, and I do know you're in The
Oh,
Lich. I'm not in The Lich, but I know you're in that one.
yeah, James. I love James. He's wonderful. He's so
Mhm.
funny. He's very clever. He's very sweet, and he has a lot of talent. He's a good writer, and I loved working with him on The Lich.
Mhm. I am seen twice on a television in It Wants Blood being watched by Eric Roberts. And I'd never met Eric Roberts, so it's kind of cool that he's watching me on a television.
Oh, well, is that out now?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. So is it a scene that Eric Roberts is in the movie watching a television set
Hmm.
and watching something in the movie, and then you're on the screen? Is that what's going on?
Yeah,
That's cool.
I just shot it on my phone. I should say my brother
Oh,
shot it on my
oh,
phone and
uh-huh.
sent it, and James put it into the movie, and I'm like, okay. I remember because I come across him through Genevieve Rossi, who's been on the
Yeah,
show, and
uh-huh.
because Genevieve was in a lot of his movies, and that's how I connected with James. And I was working back shift one night, and it was 4 in the morning, and I was on my lunch, and I get this email from James asking me if I'd shoot my own death scene for Cool as Hell 2.
Oh, yeah, you told me about this. Yeah.
I stared at that for a long time, and then I had to call him and ask what the context was of this because I'm not an actor, but his movies are done in that tongue-in-cheek kind of way that
Yeah.
I'm not going to hurt it, and I've been now in 9 of his movies, so, but It Wants Blood was a great experience because, like I said, Eric Roberts is watching me on a television. I'm like, that's actually kind of cool. So
That is very cool. And James is really good at getting people to do cameos. In The Lich, Tom Sizemore does a cameo. Yeah.
hmm
I thought that was pretty funny that he got Tom Sizemore to do a cameo in The Lich.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
And
we
then
are
the upcoming ones. The
well,
upcoming ones that we have in common.
yeah, so we're going to talk about those right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
We'll start with Z Dead In because I just had Robert Rusto on here back in, I think it was March,
Oh,
February or March. Yeah, I had him on, and I really like the title Z Dead End.
I like it too. I think it's very snazzy.
Yeah, I think it's the last film I got on as a co-producer, because financially, I get a lot of people reach out to me, and I even had to say, James, I got to slow down because
Yeah,
my savings took a massive hit after my car stalled down a busy street.
yeah.
I had
Oh,
to get, yeah, I had to get a new car and stuff, and so I had to put a halt on that. But I think Z Dead End might have been the last one that I got involved in as a producer, and I love the cast he's got assembled for this. I'll bring that up here
yeah.
because it says George Lansonby is supposed to be in this. I'm like, okay, that's got my attention. But I mean, Genevieve Rossi playing Pitchfork Molly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're in this. Dave Sheridan, I'm going to see at Frightmare in the Falls.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And I'm going to see Felissa Rose at Frightmare in the Falls.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah. And we got Brink Stevens in this, and
Yep.
Angie Stevenson, and you're in it. There's rumored for Roger Corman. So I don't know.
Yeah, he's still working on that one.
Yeah. So talk about working on Z Dead End. Is your scenes all shot?
No, not yet. They're working on getting all the scenes that are being shot in New York done first,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're coming out to California at some point to shoot those scenes. So there's a lot of scenes in California that need to be shot. So I maybe a couple more months before they get around to coming out to California. We'll see. He's going to keep me posted.
Yeah, zombies falling from the sky.
That really caught my attention too. I liked that concept a lot, and then talking to Robert Restro about the film I was like, yeah, I definitely want to be involved with this, and of course the cast, which is amazing, and
Yeah, Kane Hodder in this, and
yeah,
like you've got a lot of good people.
oh yeah,
It amazes me because I see a lot of these kind of films that don't quite hit. And
yeah,
then I see some of these films like they've got this quite a prolific cast, and I'm like, okay, it's got my attention. I'm taking it seriously, because if it's
right,
got all these names involved, this has got to be more than just something shot on an iPhone.
yeah,
So it's got my attention. Robert was a great interview. I had a lot of fun having him on here, and so yeah, and I saw your I put your YouTube video. I
oh,
shared it where you had the shirt and you were holding it up, and
yeah. A few months back, I did a little promo video. Actually, I think that was in March that I did that. I think I've done 2 promo videos for Z Dead End talking about the film, because Robert Restro has a Indiegogo, or it might be Kickstarter. I'm not sure. It's a fundraising campaign on one of those platforms to raise money for the film. So I was helping out by bringing attention to the fundraising campaign.
well, it got my attention.
Good.
So, are you able to talk about your role in the film?
Well, I don't want to give too much away, but I can give this part away. I won't give away the scene, but I am going to be in a scene with Robert Mukes and Robert Lissardo, and then a couple people who haven't been determined yet. But yeah, I play a not very nice character.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm in cahoots. I'm in cahoots with some bad people.
I'm shocked. I
I
can't
know,
picture you being mean.
I know, right?
What was it like working with Robert?
I haven't done it yet.
You know what? That was a dumb question for me to
I know.
ask.
No,
I'm still thinking about me interviewing him and getting all this, and
I can see where you would forget that part, that I haven't done mine yet. But yeah,
yeah.
no, I've
Okay.
talked to him on the phone a few times, and he's very nice. So I can't wait to work with him.
Yeah. Oh, like I said, I love the title Z Dead End, you know, and I'm like, this gives me a credit in the right at the very, very end alphabetically for me.
Well, I got the one T-shirt which I show off in the video that I have on YouTube, but there's another T-shirt that my friends that they shot their stuff out in New York. So my friend Eva Hamilton and Angie Stevenson, and there's somebody else that was shooting with them, and they had these really great girl ZNN shirts. So I asked Robert Restro, I'm like, Robert, I would love one of those shirts. He says, oh yeah, no problem, I'll get you one. And I'm just like, okay, I'm still waiting on my fancy schmancy T-shirt, Robert. But he's been busy. He's busy shooting, so it's like I'll get one eventually.
There you go.
If Robert happens to see this interview, it's like, okay, Robert, where's my T-shirt?
There you go. There you go. I don't know whether I'm a co-producer, associate producer. I'd have to look on the thing, but yeah, I got my name on it, and it looks very promising. I'm kind of interested to see where that goes. So
It does. It does look good. It looks like it's going to be really good. So, it's a wait and see kind of thing. He still has a lot more to shoot, so we'll see. But
yeah,
I'm glad you're involved with that.
yeah, and I'm involved in the Witches in the Sand. Now
The
here's
Witches of the Sands. Yes, I'm really looking forward to that one.
here's my story on that.
Okay, what's your story?
This goes back to 2018. I
Uh-huh.
met the lovely, beautiful Lynn Laurie at Horrorama 2018.
Yes, I love Lynn. I've worked with her a few times. She's lovely. She's wonderful.
I love Lynn. I met
I
her.
do.
She's a hugger too. You know, I
She
always
is.
I got VIP when I go to these events. I went up and met her both times, and I got a couple pictures of hug pictures. And
Good.
it's the first time I ever met somebody where I pitched my podcast, and
Mhm.
she gave me not just her email but her phone number. Nobody's ever given me their number before. I've never called her though, but we did correspond through email. But I've never called her. But nonetheless, 2018, it never happened, due to schedules.
Uh-huh.
Finally this year, I finally got her on the show.
Uh-huh.
And yep, I just stayed in touch with her, and we finally get it worked out. And she said I was the first podcast she had done. So she didn't know
Oh,
what to expect. And I was like, good, I'm glad to be the
oh,
first.
yeah. When did you do that?
That was in July. It's still unlisted on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you gonna
So
put her on
uh,
YouTube soon?
yeah, actually I can send you the link so you could see it early if you want.
Well, I'm just talking about, everybody's gonna want to see that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't put them up right away because my former station manager had told me before she retired, when you do an interview, don't put it up right away. Save some for a rainy day.
Oh, right.
And you know what? I come to learn that the rainy day turned out to be COVID,
Uh-huh.
because when the station locked down, I had no way to do this.
All
And
right. And then,
well, Nancy
but
McLaughlin
now
of Jason
now you can
Lives.
do the Zoom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nancy McLaughlin said, if she can do Zoom, I can do Zoom. And you're number
Exactly.
107 this year, so I've really gotten the hang of this. And it's nice to be able
Oh,
to,
wow.
yeah,
Wow. That's a lot of people. Good for you.
it's not even my record.
Wow. Well, congratulations. You're going strong.
I like this because I don't have to call the station and ask if Studio B is available,
Right.
because I'm
Right.
competing with over 100 other programmers there.
Right.
So this I could just book whenever, and this is fantastic. So that's why I do it that way. But I always send the interviews to the guest beforehand. So
That's good.
yeah, so if it's unlisted, they can still post it, you know?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that way, you could still, like, you'll need to put this on your Facebook and wherever before I
Right.
even put it public. So that you got my permission to do that. That is fine,
Okay.
you know.
But to get back to Witches of the Sands,
Yeah,
you started talking
Lynn
about, and then you got off on this other tangent.
Laurie. Finally, I got her on the show. I love Lynn. I must have like 4 Blu-rays signed by her because she was doing this thing on Facebook during the pandemic where she was doing this thing where you could order a signed copy of Shivers or the Crazies or whatnot. And she said she would sign a picture and poster to send with it. So it was a thing you could order. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. Of course, I want a signed copy of Shivers. But so I got like 4 of her movies signed by her. And I guess she appreciated my support, which is why she came on my show. And how this connects with Witches on the Sand is I have her on Facebook and I saw a post because she's in a lot of movies. I actually got one right here out of Toronto, Necropolis Legion, directed by Chris Alexander. I know that young lady. She was on this year. And so anyway, I saw a post about the Witches in the Sand, Indiegogo. So I clicked on it and I went down through this and I was like, wow, there's a lot of names in this. So the first thing I did after I had Lynn on is I reached out to Tony Martin, the director, because I was like, well, I should get the director on, talk to him about this project. And I had Tony Martin on, and my story about him, I couldn't be a co-producer or associate producer because financially I'm just not in a place where I could do that. But I said to him, I said, I'll tell you what, I can either buy a Blu-ray or I can get my picture in the film. He says, buy the Blu-ray and we'll put your picture in the film. And I thought, what a gracious thing to do, you know? So shout out to Tony Martin for being a stand-up guy. And then, yes, I've seen the Facebook pictures of him running in drag race. He's a pretty funny guy, but I had Tony on, and I've had several other cats. Actually, I just had Michael St. Michael's on here, who's also in it. So I reached out to you, and he spoke very highly of you.
Which one? You've mentioned a few names.
Tony Martin spoke highly
Oh,
of you.
okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, I love Tony. We've become good friends.
Tony's a great guy, and so I've had several people from Witches of the Sands on. So you got a pretty prominent role in that. Talk about your role, and I take it it's shot already because I see pictures online.
Yeah, yeah. I shot my scenes for it last October, actually, a year ago. I shot my scenes a year ago. So I can't tell you much about it because I don't want to give anything away. But I just let people be, pleasantly surprised. I have a really nice prominent role, and then I make an appearance toward the beginning, and then I make an appearance toward the end. But there's so many people in this film, so many amazing people. Just I don't know how he's really fitting all of these cameos in. It's like just so many, but he's got a plan, and my hat's off to him. It's going to be a crazy, crazy, wild film, but good and very entertaining, and I can't wait to see it all put together. I'm really looking forward to it. So I will tell you, I play a witch. That's all I'll tell you.
He gets attacked by a sandwich.
He does get attacked by a sandwich at some point in this. in the film. So we'll have to see how that plays out.
That got my attention too. I'm like, this is a
Uh-huh.
guy's got a creative mind.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's gonna be it's gonna be wild. I can't wait to see it.
I'm gonna
I
bring
think
that.
he's wrapping up filming. He's got 1 or 2 more things to shoot, and then I think he's finally wrapping it up soon as far as shooting things. And then he's got editors that are already working on the edit, so it'll be exciting.
We've got some great people in it. Because Tony is in this. You're in this. Linnea Quigley, I've interviewed, is in this.
Yeah,
Brendan Crane, Donna
it's
Lee
like
Heising,
everybody's in it.
Brink
Everybody's in it.
Stevens,
Mhm.
Beverly Randolph, Lindsay
Yeah.
Drew, Lloyd Kaufman, Lynn Laurie,
Uh-huh.
Elaine Dietz. I had her on here a couple times.
Good.
Michael St. Michael's I just had on here. Barbara McNaughey, I got scheduled. I'm looking forward to chatting with her. And of course, Genevieve Rossi as a seductress. I could see her playing that. she is awesome.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love her. I love her.
Do you have other projects that you want to promote on here? Because I know you got a lot that's either pre-production, filming, or post-production.
Yes.
Anything that you can go into that you want to talk about?
Well, a couple of the films that I shot last year are, well, one of the films that I shot last year, it's 99.9 done. You know, the filmmaker is Todd Ernest Braley, and the film is called You Like to Draw, with a question mark at the end. And this film is a family drama, and it's about a young woman who has a traumatic brain injury, and I'm the mother of this woman, young woman. And so she's living at home, and along with her teenage sister, which is my daughter. And so the story revolves around her and her struggle, and the family members and the family dynamics, as well as other people that are in the scene in the story. And my good friend Trista Robinson is a phenomenal actress, and she plays the busybody, nosy aunt, know-it-all aunt. And the young woman who has the traumatic brain injury, is beautifully played by Bree Frank. And then her caretaker, her new caretaker, who's replacing the caretaker that can no longer come over, is I'm having a is look it up for me. Mariah. Is it Mariah? It's Mariah. Okay, Mariah. And what's her last name? I'm sorry, Mariah, I love you. And can you look it up? It's Mariah Ellen. No.
What's the name of the film again?
You
Like to Draw. I found it.
It's Mariah. What's her last name? So sorry.
Let me see.
I hate it when I do that.
Mariah Ellen Griffith.
See, I said Ellen. Yeah, Mariah Ellen Griffith. Okay, so yeah. Sorry, Mariah, but she's wonderful, and everybody. The lady Rhonda Williams plays the pastor, and she's great. I mean, everybody in the cast is wonderful, and Todd Ernest Braley, of course, did an amazing job. He's the director, and he wrote it. I helped with the story, so I very nicely, he gave me a story by credit. So but he actually wrote the screenplay, and it's very good. So that one is going to be released very soon. Oh, another film that I did last year. I did a Western last year called Showdown in Yesteryear, but okay. That's still in post-production. It's going to be a while before that one will be ready to be released. But that one I'm very much looking forward to seeing, because I love Westerns. And also I did a film called The Deceased Won't Desist, which is a murder mystery comedy. And the director is Mark Pirro, who's a very close friend of mine. one of my first films when I was first starting out is Death Row Game Show, which is a cult classic. I mean, people love this film, Death Row Game Show.
Mhm.
And I mean, that's right up there with Beverly Hills Vamp as far as having a, a huge fan base for it. People that, even today tell me, I love Death Row Game Show. It is very funny. Anyway, that was, I worked with Mark Pirro, and that was 30 plus years ago, a little over 30 years ago, we shot that. So I was so thrilled to get to work with him again last year on The Deceased Won't Desist. And I think I already said it's a murder mystery comedy, and it's got an ensemble cast. My good friend G. Larry Butler is the pastor in it. He's really hilarious. Everybody's really good in this. It's very funny. So I can't wait for people to see it.
You
He,
worked with Vernon Wells in the Western, I just
I,
noticed.
I
I
did.
met him.
Oh, good. Well, we weren't there at the same time.
Yeah.
He had come to shoot his scenes the week before I showed up to shoot my scene, so I
Mhm.
missed him. And yeah, but I have some other films that I worked on which are in post production, and then I just worked earlier this year in March. I worked with my friend Monty Light on a
Mhm.
psychological thriller called Blood Covered Chocolate. So that one he's working on. It's in the editing process, and that is a vampire film, or is it? It's
Oh, Ellen Udy is in
yeah,
that.
yeah, my good friend Ellen, she's
Well,
in.
a couple things about Ellen. I had her on here once before, and I'm right now in the midst of booking her for December.
Oh, wonderful. Good.
And she has done a Doubtfire Face challenge as well, which we'll be
Oh,
talking about soon. Ellen she is an amazing person.
she is. And
Yeah.
I've been friends with her for a while, so I was thrilled to get to work with her earlier this year. And we were actually, I mean, we actually got to work together, and we were in the same scenes, not just the same film. We were in scenes together. So I was really extra excited about that. And so that's another film that I can't wait for people to see. And then I worked on a few other things this year. I just worked with Albert Quinn, who was his films are cult classic films, his films from the 80s and 90s, and like The Sword and the Sorcerer and
Hmm.
Cyborg with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Nemesis. I mean, he had some films that are very highly recognizable, that he has a huge fan base. So I just got to work with him about a month ago, and I worked with him on this for the same film. I worked with him 2 years ago in Las Vegas, and then I just was in Las Vegas about a month ago working with him again because he's dealing with dementia. So for a while he was having physical problems, but right now he's doing really well. And so he was able to get back in the saddle and start shooting again, because there's this big epic film that he's trying to finish, and that is Cyborg 2. So right now he's working on the editing of that. So hopefully that'll be available for people to see soon. And then I have some amazing films coming up, like some really, really good films. I have a Western called Bullets for Jesus coming up, which it looks like, I thought we were going to maybe shoot it this year. It looks like maybe it might be next year, but it'll be worth the wait. And then I have another film with the same director, John Rain, who's become a very, very close friend of mine. And so there's a film called Vampire Penance that we'll be shooting, which is going to be a big, like a big vampire film, but not like your typical vampire film. It's going to be a little different. And then there's other films that he's doing that I'll be working on with him. So, I'll be working with him for years to come, literally. And then I've got I'm going to be working with my friend Chase Dudley, who just had his film Beast of the Fields. It's being released now. It's out. I think it's out. that you can see it. I think, is it out? I think it might be out, but he's shooting a film in a few weeks starring Robert Mukes called Locked In. And I'm not in that one, but there's another film that he's doing in the future that kind of is part of the same world as Locked In, which I will be in. My character will is in the same like universe as the Robert Mukes film that they're about to shoot. But that one he's doing later. But next year I'm going to be working with him on another film, and he hasn't announced it yet, so I don't want to say too much, but I will be working with him soon, which I'm looking forward to. And then I have, oh my God, I have so many projects that I can't even list them all. I mean, I literally can't list them all. We'd be here all day that things are coming up. So things are going to be very, very busy and exciting next year. I mean, it's exciting right now, but it's going to be busy. Gonna be a very busy girl next year, so I'm really excited about it.
You ever get to do the convention scene?
You know, many years ago, like in the 80s and 90s, I did a handful of conventions. I was brought out to go do Chiller back in 93, I think, and there was a lot of the girls who I knew were at that particular convention that year. Debbie Rashawn and just a ton of people, and Joe Bob Briggs was there back then, and that was of course ages ago. And then I went out to Chiller. I had some people that brought me out to Chiller. Maybe it was about 6 years ago, maybe, to promote a it was, what do you call those things? It's not a film like a story. It's a film that has all these old trailers from films, like trailers from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s of horror films, trailers for horror films. And it's called Celluloid Bloodbath Previews from Hell. But he had my friend James Murray, James Murray, he put it together. And so he had me and Linnea Quigley and a whole bunch of other people come in, and, you know, we introduced one or two films. You know, we were talking about different films, classic horror films. And so he brought me out to promote that at Chiller. I don't know, maybe 6 years ago, I think. And so I did that. And I was at Monsterpalooza several years ago to promote a film I did called Disciples, that had a lot of horror icons in it, like Tony Todd, Camden Toy, Brink Stevens, Linnea Quigley. Gosh, I know I'm forgetting people, but a ton of people. So I was promoting that at Monsterpalooza several years ago, but I really haven't done a lot of conventions. I did more so in the 80s and 90s, and I, especially lately, I haven't done anything convention wise lately, but you know, if somebody wants to make me a good offer and say, hey, we want to bring you out to somewhere to, you know, whatever.
What's the most interesting thing you've ever been asked to sign?
To assign, well, you know, just the usual things, DVDs and pictures and t-shirts. And I don't think I got a request for anything like really risque or, you know, really like shocking, you know, just normal stuff. I think at the Chiller I did back in 93, it was during Halloween. So I did this performance. I did a fire eating performance, and the audience was huge. I mean, a massive crowd. They had some bands, and then they had me come out and do this like fire eating vampire dance thing. And I ended up having all this blood in my mouth. So I picked a victim and I bit his neck, and I got blood all over him. So that was, you know, that wasn't being asked to sign anything, but the the guy involuntarily got his shirt all bloodied up. I'm not quite sure if he liked it or not. I don't remember, but anyway.
Do you have any charities that you're involved with?
I don't. I have topics that are very near and dear to my heart. Like you. I mean, I also am very empathetic towards you know, suicide and depression and suicide awareness and mental health. And of course also, you know, children's services types of things and homelessness.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, but who isn't really whose heart is not torn out knowing there's all these people on the street and there's all these, you know, not just men and women but families. There's families on the street, there's children, there's, you know, and not always at the fault of the person. You know, I mean, a lot of this, there is a lot of mental health issues you know, in play with a good portion of the people that are on the streets, but not everybody. I mean, a lot of people are there just out of circumstances, and it's like things snowball and one thing after another happens and they end up, you know, finding themselves homeless. That happened to a very good friend of mine who is an extremely talented, very successful artist. He was very successful in the 80s and 90s. I mean, very top. He was like one of the top artists at that time. And he just, because of just some circumstances that were beyond his control, he ended up being homeless. And I kind of lost track of him. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on right now, but I mean, it really can happen to anybody. And so that's one of my biggest things. If I ever get to uh, some type of bigger, if I have a bigger platform to support these issues and these subjects, then at some point I definitely will find some reputable, you know, charities who actually really do help people, because there's a million charities, and then you really have to do your research to find the ones that are actually really helping the people that they're supposed to be
Yep.
helping, instead of
Oh yeah.
instead of helping the people that are, you know, putting it on and they're making money and they're not really helping the people that they're supposed to be helping. So that's a big thing. But I know you're very close with your, you know, suicide suicide preventiveness, however you say it, and, you know, mental health awareness.
I've
And
been hit with that periodically throughout my life, and I'll tell you, it is a horrible feeling, you know. And
yeah.
I actually have a guest. I won't mention her name, but I'm kind of walking through this now, you know.
Mm.
Yeah, and so I've been either texting or making phone conversations, and I keep her in my prayers. And I know that term, thoughts and prayers, got thrown around a lot over the past years, but I actually do keep, because I came from a Christian background. So when I
Yeah, same
tell,
here. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I still read from my Bible's right there. But
Well, good.
when I tell people I pray for them, I mean it, you know,
Yeah,
because
I
a lot
believe
of,
you.
yeah. So I got a guest that lost her stepfather, who she was very, very close to, and she was struggling with that. And so I told her about my experiences with it, and that I beat it more than once. I never been to the point of suicide, you know, but depression in itself, I mean, it's hard getting up in the morning with that, you know.
Sure.
So the ice bucket challenge was such a big success. My dad has ALS, so um, that was a big success. And I was like, the only thing that caught me is that wouldn't it be great if every year something like this would go on, what it would do for charities? And after we lost Robin Williams, and I was a big Robin Williams fan, um, we lost him to suicide and depression. And
I know that one hit me hard too. That was,
mhm,
I'm sure, I don't know anybody that wasn't affected by Robin Williams. It was shocking and it was so heartbreaking. And it just goes to show you that I mean, I see it all around me. I suffer from depression. I get very depressed sometimes, and
mhm,
I have to, just kind of do what I do to get out of it, get out of the funk.
mhm.
But I mean, even the people who don't necessarily suffer from depression or anxiety, and I suffer from anxiety too. Um, Even the people who don't necessarily like have any kind of like chronic depression or anything. I mean, we all, no matter who it is, we all, especially artists, anybody doing anything in the field of, film or art or writers or, any creative type of people, and just regular people too, because we're all creative. I mean, everybody, all the people who they don't necessarily pursue, the arts. They don't necessarily pursue acting. They're not in film. They don't do that as like a profession or even a hobby. But, everybody from all walks of life, no matter who it is, successful people, get really depressed or down or, whatever label, because a lot of people don't like, labels. Like they're like, I'm not depressed, but mental health issues is really um one of the number one top issues that people across the board really need to have that awareness. And like I see things all the time that's posts on social media, but in other places too, that it's like there's so much, which is good. This is very good. There's so many people out there trying to shine a light on mental health and mental health awareness, and getting the stigma taken off of people who have you know mental issues or anything, or even like things like learning disabilities and any autism and any of these things. I mean, they're different, so I don't want anybody thinking I'm lumping them together. I'm not. People don't think I do know the difference. Okay, so but I'm just saying all of these things. I'm really so happy to see more and more awareness for all of these different issues, and more people. I follow a lot of people who are autistic on YouTube who post videos, and they're very upbeat. There's this one guy, his videos is called, I think his channel's called the Aussie. No. Aspie, the Aspie world, like Asperger's. And so I just think it's wonderful that so many people, and like yourself, you have whatever it is you said you had. And you'll have to remind me what you said, because I don't want to misquote you. But, everybody, we need to shine light on these things so people are not stigmatized and people are not made fun of, like in school or whatever. Learning disabilities. I'm dyslexic. I have learning disabilities, and people get made fun of in school, just anybody who's like at all just even a little bit different get made fun of and bullied. I mean, it's so good that we have so many people trying to break those kind of stigmas and break that society group think that anybody who's different is not right. It's wonderful to be different. I mean, being different is I mean, I don't have a word to describe what being different is. You come
Original.
up. Well, yeah, it's good to be an original. It's
Yeah.
good to be different, So I celebrate people's uniquenesses, and the fact that we can all be different, and we can all have, you know, whatever it is that moves us, and whatever it is that floats our boat, you know, and we can all, you know, live together and live harmoniously. And I think, you know, as bad as the world seems sometimes, there's so many good things about the world and about society and about people that are headed in the right direction. I think so much attention is giving to the things that are bad and the negative things. I mean, that's all you hear about, because that's what gets people's attention in the news is, you know, terrible things and horrible things happening. But there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good things happening. Most people out there are not evil. Most people are well-intentioned. Most people do want to live harmoniously with other people. So that's my 2 cents.
Well, before we get to your Doubtfire Face challenge, do you have anything else you want to plug and promote on here? Do you get a website? You get a YouTube channel?
Yeah. You know, I would love for people to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I mean, it's not like, I'm not one of these people who create content to get an audience to like, oh, every week I'm making a video. You know, I'm not one of those people. I'm not one of these people that's like, I'm an influencer. I'm going to show you what toothpaste to use because I really like this toothpaste. Everybody's got to use this toothpaste. No, I don't do anything like that. But I do have some fun videos, and I put things, and every once in a while I'll do a promotional video for something, you know, a film that I'm working on, or, you know, fundraisers, you know, like I did for the Z Dead End. But I do have a lot of fun videos. I've got a lot of music videos. So I have different categories on my YouTube channel. I've got the best of, I've got music videos and short films and film clips, and you know, you look around, there's different playlists, so you can just pick a playlist and check out some videos. But I would like more subscribers. That would be nice. I'm on Twitter, but I don't use Twitter.
Same here.
I'm good at retweeting. I can retweet. And I have, you know, a couple friends that like to say funny things, and I'll say funny things back, but I'm not good at like really using Twitter as a tool. So I'm mainly on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram's my favorite, but Instagram, Facebook, you know, I like Facebook because you can share memories, and it's so easy to get in touch with tons of people on Facebook. Is very easy, but I like Instagram too. And so I'm on there. It's the Debra Lamb on Twitter and Instagram. I'm easy. I'm simple. I don't make up weird names that people like. Oh, who's the horse hobbyist? Who's Muffin Pie Maggie? You know, I don't know who Muffin Pie Maggie is. You know, who is that? I don't know. You got to look at the pictures and figure it out. But no, I'm just the Debra Lamb. But and please, everybody, check out my movies on IMDb. And also, before we move on to the big fun thing, is you know, I've got all these films coming up, and a lot of them are on IMDb. So if you're curious about what I have coming up, actually, I have a lot of things coming up that are not on IMDb. A lot of really cool projects, but they're not on there yet. But that's okay. They will be. But everybody, please keep a watch out for my films and stuff. I have to say something. Thank you, Greg, very much for having me on your show. You're a sweetheart, and I'm so happy that we met and became friends. You're just so sweet, and I want to thank all of my fans and my friends who shown me so much love and support over the many years, and new friends too. You know, I have a lot of new friends. I really like being able to network and meet wonderful, supportive, loving people like you on social media, you know, on Facebook mainly. And it's such a good way to get to know people and meet so many wonderful people. And and keep in touch with all your friends, you know, all like when I first got on Facebook, I was kind of late to the party, but I got on Facebook about, maybe 9 years ago, I think. And, you know, I was able to reconnect with so many people that I just was so thrilled to be able to reconnect with all these actor friends from the 80s and 90s and just all sorts of, not just necessarily actor and film people, but everybody. But I just do want to give a shout out to the people giving me all their love and support and cheering me on all the time. And don't think it goes unnoticed, because it does not. And I see who's always right there giving me a yay, go Debbie, go. And so thank you. I appreciate it. And I appreciate your love and support too, Greg.
Well, you know what? I think it's awesome. It's Tony Martin spoke very highly of you.
Thank you.
And you know what? I thought it was about
Thank
time.
you, Tony.
And next year around this time, you know, I'd love to have you back, because I imagine you'll have some projects complete so we could do a follow-up.
Won't that be nice? Yeah, I mean, like the films that I did last year, some of them are nearing completion. A couple of them are very close to being released, like You Like to Draw, which I'm very proud of. And bravo to Todd Ernest Braley for making this film and putting me in it. And it's.
Do you like to draw?
It's called You. It's do I? Okay, I get you. You know, I do. No, I do. When I was younger, I was quite the artist. I have a lot of paintings that I've done too, and a lot of different types of art pieces. And yeah, I mean, I've been drawing since I was a little kid and writing since I was a little kid. Oh, I want to give a quick shout out to my WPAD writers group. It stands for Writers, Poets, and Deviants. Oh, I got to show you something. Hang on.
Sure.
I got to show you this because I have forgotten to post about the new book with this writers group that I'm a part of.
Okay.
And let me fix the phone. Okay. So I think it's going to be backwards. Yeah, is it backwards?
No, it's called The Deviant Shadows. It's perfect.
It's not backwards? Okay.
No, I always get things backwards. I'll tell you that.
So at the top, it's got WPAD presents. So WPAD stands for the writers group called Writers, Poets, and Deviants. And this one is Deviant Shadows. Look at that amazing artwork. The artist is and the rest of the title is Deviant Shadows, Tales of the
Paranormal.
Hair Abnormal.
Abnormal.
Hair Abnormal. And the artist is Jason Kemp. He's amazing. He does all our artwork. So I've been published with the WPAD group in these anthology books several times. I think this is maybe my 7th book, or maybe it might be 6th, but I think it's the 7th. I have to go and look and count, but it's great. And then the back of it's really cool too. So this is available on Amazon, and I have to make a post about it. And but it's got a lot of stories in it. But one of my very best friends is he's my BFF, Michael Haberfellner, who lives in Vienna. And I actually went to stay with him for 4 months in the year of 2018. And then, but he's one of my very, very, very loveliest best friends. I love you, Michael. And so he got me into this group because he knew I was a writer, and he had been writing for this group for years before, a few years before me. So he brought me into the group several years ago, and Mandy White is the editor. So there's lots of stories. I mean, there's a whole slew of writers with stories in here. And, if I try to name them, I'm going to leave somebody out. So I'm not going to do that because I don't want to leave anybody out. But Michael Haverfelder's stories in there. Of course, Mandy White, the editor, her stories are in there. My story is in here. My story, which one is my story in this book? I forgot. Oh, I remember. Going Medieval. That's the name of my Going Medieval. So get this book, read my story, Going Medieval. I'm going to be doing a video where I bring out all my books with
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring out all my books and do a video about all these books. And but I just haven't done it yet. So it's on my to-do list. So and then I'll put it on my YouTube channel.
And I will share it.
Oh, good.
Yes, I will share it. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm a writer too. I write things, and I've been published many, many times. So.
You're one of the writers behind Witches of the Sand as well, huh?
Well, for my scenes, yes, I wrote them.
You didn't come up with the sandwich attacking Tony?
No, I didn't come up with that. I cannot claim that. But Tony and I, when Tony and I were trying to come up with an idea about how to fit me into the film, so we came upon this idea, and so we got a general idea, and then I wrote it. So along with the help of my dear friend Mark Bonacore, who is a filmmaker. So he actually helped me shoot it back out in Philadelphia last year. So we shot it. Yeah.
Okay. Are you set to do your Doubtfire Face challenge?
Okay, now you have to explain to the people
watching,
you have to explain what this is.
Okay, the Doubtfire Face challenge, of course, was the next challenge that came up after the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. And I didn't start it. I don't know who started it, but I grew up with that kind of humor. So I always liked the Nickelodeon stuff and all that with the pies and slime and all that. But so this appealed to me, but it's sad that this had to come about after losing one of our greatest comedians, which I consider Robin Williams. And suicide and depression. I've suffered from depression periodically throughout my life, and so when I found out about this, the Doubtfire Face challenge, which of course is taken from when Robin Williams sticks his face in the cake and comes up, and the landlord or the saleswoman, whoever it was, thinks she's got a face mask.
No, his wife. His wife comes in with the kids. Right?
No, not there. No.
Oh, that was different. That was a different one. Oh, that was a different scene.
And she goes, "Hello."
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah. So I did this
and there's the whipped cream in the face. Yeah, I think it was like key lime pie or something.
Yeah. So I did this and I threw it out to people I've interviewed, because I can do it all till the sun goes down, and people don't care whether I do. They want to see people in the industry, because that's why the Ice Bucket Challenge took off so well. So I was like, okay. I did one in Toronto with my friend Lisa Langlois from the movie Class of 1984. She invited me to my first con, and she and I have been friends ever since. Yeah. Well, she took a pie in the face from her son when she lived in Los Angeles. So she did it there, and then she moved back to Toronto, and I did one with her. She didn't take one at that one because we were at a party, but since there was people there to film, I took one from Lisa because I thought I should do this with one of my guests, of course.
Where did you do that? Did you do that like in a studio or at a convention? Where
it was one of her friends was having a party, and she invited me because I was kind of new to Toronto, so I got to know some of her friends, some of which I've had on the show. And so there was somebody there that was able to film it on their camera and whatnot, or hold my phone up and shoot it. So I did one with Lisa, and I threw it out to others. Nancy McLaughlin did it in front of props from Jason Lives, which was kind of interesting.
And you
Ellen
said Ellen Udy.
Ellen Udy did it. I'll have to
Udy.
send you the link for hers. Because she also is a clown and does the stilt
Yes.
stuff. And I was like,
Yes.
I have to throw this out to Ellen Udy. And she did one. It was very funny.
Yeah,
But
she's awesome.
she did one, and Sandy Johnson did one. She was Judith Myers in the original
Oh yeah, I
Halloween.
know Sandy. We're friends.
I love Sandy.
She's very sweet.
Yeah, and she her husband was dressed up as Michael Myers, and he put the pie in her face.
Oh, that's perfect.
She nominated Nick Castle, PJ Souls, and Felissa Rose. Now, when I see
Did
Felissa,
any of those people do it?
Sandy can't figure out how to get it to them. But I'm going to see Felissa at Frightmare in the Falls. I'm going to show it to her. I'm going to show it to her because I haven't had Felissa on here yet, but I've heard all good things about her, and I got no doubt she'd probably do it. Yep. But she's trying to figure out how to get it to them, and because
what do you mean get it to them?
Get the video to them because
so they can see that she's shouting them out to
yeah. But hers was funny. You had her husband coming up dressed as Michael Myers. He's got the butcher knife, and when she's talking about, he kind of like puts the butcher knife down, picks the pie. I thought that was funny. And so Sandy did it. You see who else did it. James Balsamo did it.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. What did he do?
He took a pie in the face. He nominated Debbie Rashawn was one of the people he nominated.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I forwarded the video to her, and she seemed happy about it, but I haven't heard anything because I'm not connected with her on Facebook. I haven't even had her on here yet. So
yeah,
we'll try to get her to follow through somehow, give her a reminder. Yep. So I've had a few. I've had a couple of wrestlers have done it.
Great.
Yep. Tori Wilson did it.
So you've had a lot of people do this. Recognizable people.
Roddy Piper's daughter, Ariel, who's into wrestling, she did it because I've had her on a few times, and her sense of humor, I had that. A lot of times with me, it's like I test out the sense of humor of the person, and if I think, wow, okay, this person, I got to throw it out to. So
okay, so
yeah.
So you've got a good cross section of people that have done it. That's great.
Yep.
And so when you approached me to do this interview, of course, you asked if
you would do the Doubtfire Face challenge in honor of suicide and depression awareness.
And I said,
you said, yeah.
Yeah, I said, of course, yes.
I just said, think about the people you want to nominate. You think about that?
Do I tell you after we do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I have to nominate more than one? Can I just nominate? Oh. How many people?
A lot of people on general, most people nominate 3 people, but
I have 3 people. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get the industry involved. So I was like, yeah. So
all right. I got 3 people.
You got 3 people?
I do.
All right. So
is it time? Is it time?
It is time. Let's do this.
Okay.
Debra Lamb is going to do what Ellen Udy has done before.
And I do love Ellen. And
Ellen's got a beautiful accent. I gotta say that.
We were in this. I told you we were in a film together that we shot earlier this year called blood covered chocolate. I was so excited finally, after all this time, you know, after being friends with her, that we actually got to you know, work together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So all right. So folks, I was trying to find a spot in my kitchen where I could safely do this without making too big of a mess. So here. Okay, I gotta put the phone down because I don't want the. All right, so oh, I know. Here, hang on one second. Hang on.
I
All
love
right.
your red hair, by the way.
Thank you. I've gotten so many compliments on this hair.
Yeah, that's a great
Thank you.
look for you.
Thank you. It's festive. It's
Mhm.
fun. I just needed like a little change. So this is a great change. Okay. So all right. Here, let's bring the here. Okay, so I'm here and look
Look
what
at
I have.
that.
Look. Ooh. Look at that, people.
This
You
is the
get-
Doubtfire Face Challenge.
Oopsie, I lost the phone.
There
Okay,
you go.
so here
Doubtfire Face Challenge for Suicide and
the-
Depression Awareness, accepted by Debra Lamb.
yes, accepted by yours truly. I'm like, I'm bracing myself. And not only that, but it's very cold. It's very cold. Okay, so I've got to get my 3 people in mind. Okay. Oh, now I forgot who I was going to nominate. Okay. One. Okay. 1, 2. Who was my 3rd person? Okay. Second. I forgot who I nominated. Okay. Okay. 1, 2, and oh, okay. I got it. I got 3 people.
You got it. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Here we go.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Look at that. I like how you got one eye uncovered. There you go.
Yummy. Well, here's to suicide prevention. I hope you're all enjoying this.
First time this happened on live on the show. So
you seem to get a big kick out of it.
oh, I loved it. Well, I've done it myself, so it's I wouldn't ask people to do something I didn't do myself. So
I actually I've never had a pie in my face before. It's quite lovely. I recommend this to everybody.
I like to see Emma Stone do it. I think she is most hilarious.
I would love to see. Oh, my eye. Ugh, there. I would love to see Emma Stone do this. Okay, so
who are you nominating to take the
okay,
challenge?
so there's lots of whipped cream left, so I'll snack on that later. Okay,
Yep.
I have my snack for me. Okay. All right, who am I nominating? I am okay. So these are people who I will set you up to interview as well. So
okay.
one of my best friends. Oh shit. got some down the boobs. Okay. It's dripping. Oh, so for more, so I might as well do this here. Little dollop will do ya.
Or you were in Strip to Kill, so
So, okay, I'll look that up later. Okay, so good, just in time. My husband's opening the door. Okay, here he comes. Here he comes.
Oh.
I just did it.
Did you do it yet?
I shut up. He's like, did you do it yet? So
Cool.
so anyway, okay. So I'm nominating my filmmaker friend who you'll need to interview,
Mhm.
who I worked with earlier this year on Blood Covered Chocolate, and so
Okay.
did Ellen Udi.
Mhm.
Ellen. She says her name like French, so you know.
Mhm.
Monty Light.
Okay.
I nominate Monty Light. Okay,
Mhm.
that's one. Okay, I'm dripping. The other one, who's another very dear friend of mine, who I'm going to be working with on several films, two of which are Bullets for Jesus, Killing for the Lord, and Vampire Penance. I nominate John Rain.
Okay.
And he's another person you're definitely going to have to interview. And
Mhm.
then the third person is my BFF in Vienna, who's a filmmaker who I worked with on There's No Such Thing as Zombies, which hopefully will be released next year, Michael Haberfellner. Now you're going to have to interview Michael Haberfellner also. And another person who is in There's No Such Thing as Zombies is one of your favorites, Lynn Lowry.
Yeah.
Lynn Lowry is also in that. And so, oh God, my eye. So yes, so now those are my three nominations. Michael Haberfellner in Vienna, producer and writer of There's No Such Thing as Zombies, and who also got me in the writers group of Writers, Poets, and Deviants.
Mhm.
And John Rain and Monty Light. Those are my three. So all very gifted, wonderful filmmakers who you're definitely going to have to interview soon.
You connect me with them, and I will.
I definitely will. I
Mhm.
definitely will. So, well, thank you so much for this interview. Oh, I'm losing. I'm here. I'm missing a spot. Okay, there. Yeah, I'm losing my. Oh, I'm Santa. So anyway, thank you so much for having me on. I hope everybody really enjoyed this.
I enjoyed this. It was fun. Before I let you go, would you mind doing a plug for my show?
Yes.
Just
Oh
state,
yeah. What do I do?
just state your name and say you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
Okay, but this is only audio, right?
Well, when I play it at the station, yeah, they'll
You're gonna
hear.
show me like this?
Of course.
Oh well, here, let me. I need to cover up my. There. Okay. There. How's that? Is that good? Okay. What do I say again?
State your name. Say you're listening to Greg Gilbert on, or actually say you're tuned in to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
Tune into Gilbert on Python's Paradise?
Yep, Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
Greg Gilbert. Okay, here we go. You ready?
Yep.
God. Hi. Oh God. Ow, my eye. Okay, hang on. It's the mascara. It's getting my eye. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Hi, I'm Debra Lamb, and you're tuned in to Greg Gilbert with Python's Paradise. No, let me do it again. Okay, one more time.
Go for it.
Okay. Hi, I'm Debra Lamb, and you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
Awesome. A night to remember for you.
Okay, so, all right. Well, thanks again for having me on.
Absolutely.
It's been lovely. It's been lovely. A lovely time was had by all.
Especially your husband arriving home.
I know, that was funny. Perfect timing. Hi, baby. Kiss me. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Okay. Thank you so much, Greg. And thanks for everybody out there watching. And again, a heartfelt thanks to all my fans and friends and everything. And thanks again.
Absolutely. God bless you. And yeah, I'll definitely have you back.
Well, thank you. And I can't wait to come back again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He gave you the look.
What?
Your husband just gave you the look.
All right. Well, thanks again.
Yeah.
Have a great evening.
Absolutely. And I will see you and Z Dead End and the Witches of the Sam, which we're both connected with.
Yep.
And maybe other projects down the line.
I have a fourth nomination.
Sure, go for it.
Tony Martin.
Tony Martin.
I nominate Tony. Tony Martin, Michael Haberfender, John Rain, and Monty Light. Okay, that's 4.
There you go. That works.
All right, so I'm gonna give the old Robin Williams, hello.
God bless you, Debra Lamb. Thank you so much for coming on here today.
God bless you, Greg.
We'll be in touch.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.